Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country. Mr. Tobin.
Thank you. Budri Molunawul. Good morning. Welcome to the lands of the Wallamedigal. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to thank the University for their acknowledgement of us and for the invitation to welcome you all here this morning. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated, particularly by our elders. My family descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and cleverman of the Burrabrongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. As such, he enrolled his daughter Maria into the Native Institution, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie himself, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. Maria studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where present-day city of Blacktown gets its name from. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here today. And with good reason. Your progress progresses us all. Your advancement is our advancement. Now that was perhaps more readily understood in traditional times when clan groups were smaller and abided by strict sharing laws, which meant that the food that you brought in from your day's activity got distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your efforts and good fortune literally nourished the rest of the community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we get clever about it. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly did in many respects, and I often use them and would recommend them to yourselves as a model or a benchmark on how good we could expect our lives today. You see, when Captain Cook arrived south of here a little over 200 years ago, he described the people he encountered at Botany Bay as one of the happiest people he had met in the world. They had nothing, he wrote, but the tools that they carried. They made shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and harvested food from the land without tilling the earth. In traditional times, everyone was accorded rights to the country or clan area where he or she was born into, so there was no homelessness, and no rich and poor either. Everyone had pretty much the same amount of gear, what you could carry. There were no armies or jails or even police. We have no history of slavery or empire building. People cooperated to collect the resources which were needed, and then they were shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained in their natural state, rivers were clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. Now remember, this is not an ideal, this is normal life. And there's no reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. So I would say to you, expect great things from your life and do great things. There is still much magic in the world and everyday opportunities to make a difference and create a future worthy of our children. We can do this, but we've got to do it together. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine now by getting off and letting you good people graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of you, have a great day, and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you. Welcome to country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce the Chancellor of Macquarie University, the Honourable Michael Egan. Mr. Egan.
Well, Chris Tobin, thank you for your welcome to country. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and graduands, of course, and as well as some boys and girls at the back, we also have, I can see and hear a number of babies, and they're very welcome. We like babies at Macquarie University, and we especially like babies that make a noise through a graduation ceremony. We do, because we've discovered from experience that if a baby makes a noise during a graduation ceremony, they're back within 25 years to take out a degree. And in fact, the louder the noise they make, the higher the degree they finally get. So please don't think that anyone will be bothered in the slightest if your child... Now, please don't go. Come back. They are really... I'm serious. They are really very welcome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's my very great privilege today to preside at this important ceremony. First, let me welcome all of our graduands, and I hope that today will be a very happy and memorable occasion for all of you. And it will only be a happy occasion if you all relax. Some of you look quite relaxed, but most of you look a bit nervous. Now, there's absolutely no need to be nervous. I'm assured that you've already passed your exams. The only thing that can go wrong today is that this might fall off, in which case we pick it up. Occasionally people have tripped and fallen over when they've been up here. That's okay, we pick you up and go on our way. So all you've got to do today is just relax and enjoy this day. Excuse me. You deserve to take pride in your graduation because completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind, you need determination and perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices. So welcome and congratulations to each and every one of you. Today I'd also like to welcome, and especially welcome, those of you who are sitting behind our graduands as their invited guests. Because if you think about it for a moment, you've all done very well too. The very fact that you're here, the fact that you've been invited by one of our graduands to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you've been very important in their lives and in the successes that we celebrate today. So mothers and fathers, brothers, sisters, cousins, sons, daughters, grandmothers, grandfathers, friends, husbands, wives, partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers, or whatever you are, congratulations and thank you for celebrating this great occasion with us. And I don't want you to think either that observing today's graduation is the end of your role. I have another important service for you to perform for our newest graduates, as they will soon become. I want you to make sure that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in a bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. In other words, if our graduands are too self-effacing to proclaim their own success, you make sure you do it for them. Now, the ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones our graduands are wearing today and participating in ceremonies just like this one. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world which can trace their history back more than 500 years. Now, obviously, Macquarie is not one of them. We're, by comparison, relatively young, only 49 years of age. But in those 49 years, we've come a long way. We now have more than 145,000 Macquarie graduates living in more than 140 countries. Macquarie is a very modern and outward-looking university. We're regarded as one of Australia's leading research universities and are currently extending our research as we are our course offerings and facilities. We're always trying to engage with the world around us. We've forged strong alliances with the community and with industry and are keen to establish more. On your way here today, you may have seen our relatively new Macquarie University Hospital. It's about 3 years old, and as well as its primary purpose of treating sick people, it's also used by the students and academics in our also relatively new School of Advanced Medicine. You may also have seen our new library, which was opened, I think, last year, might have been the year before, which provides a 21st century learning and research environment for our students, and I think is probably the envy of every university in the land. Or you might have seen our new Advanced Hearing Hub, which was opened only a few months ago, and which is a world's leading institute dedicated to advances in hearing, speech and language science. So we're looking forward and we're on the move. We want Macquarie always to be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And graduands, in just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Thank you.
Chancellor, I call on Mrs. Zehavit Wuji, who is graduating today with a Bachelor of Commerce Professional Accounting, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Mrs. Wuji.
Good morning, Deputy, Vice-Chancellor, members of the University, honoured guests, staff, fellow graduates, family and friends. Right now, I can feel myself trembling, standing in front of so many excellent graduates. And I feel deeply honoured and privileged to be able to share with you all the joy and pleasure of this very special moment of our lives. As I think back at the time I spent in Macquarie University, my mind is filled with gratitude and happiness. I would like to take this moment to share with you all some of the fine memories I will take with me as I live. I can still very clearly remember how scared I was to study in university. When I just arrived to Australia 7 years ago, I could never imagine myself doing a degree. As time passed and I gave birth to my older son, I decided that I needed to get a higher education so I could be a better role model for him. I started with the small steps as I registered to TAFE. Once I graduated, I found the courage to come to university. Today, I can say it has been an amazing journey, and I feel that I achieved my dream, and that is to show to my children that anything is possible if you really work hard for it and make my family proud. I feel lucky that I chose Macquarie University, as it's turned out to be much better than anything that I imagined. The lecturer has been supportive and wonderful. I could always refer to them even if it was 2 o'clock in the morning. My mom once told me that a good teacher is a good teacher for life, and I know that the teacher that I had here in Macquarie University will stay with me forever. Other thing I will always treasure are the time I have spent working in the university mentoring program and being members of the SRG. This gave me a great opportunities for additional experience that I could never have learned in any textbook. The university different skills workshops have enabled me to interact with professionals and experts in accounting and the business sectors. Their advice will be invaluable to my future career. The world-class education and hands-on experience I have received here have brought added values to my personal life that I will take with me wherever I go. Things such as integrity, critical thinking, respect, and personal excellence are not just words, and I'm proud to have gone throughout my education and developed as a person based on these values, which have now become as part of me. I believe that most of the graduates would agree with me that the university has not only taught us the knowledge and skills to aim us in the right directions, but also have the confidence to achieve much more than we thought it's possible. On behalf of all graduates, I would like to thank the lecturers, tutors, and all staff members for their remarkable work. Gratitude also goes to our families, members, and friends for their endless and unwavering support. This moment would have never been possible without you all. And finally, congratulations and well done to all my fellow graduates. We leave Macquarie University with more than just a qualification, but with the found memories and friendship, and equipped with the skills to realize our dreams and to reach our potential. I wish each of you the best of luck in your future career. Don't ever stop dreaming, as dreams can come true. My journey would not have been the same without you all, so thank you.
Well, thank you, Zeravit, for that lovely address, very moving speech. Thank you for coming to Australia. and thank you for choosing Macquarie. I heard your reference to your son, and you've got, well, 2 sons now, and they're obviously only youngsters. But we had an occasional speaker last week who was the former Prime Minister of Australia, Bob Hawke, and he began by telling us that the most important thing he'd ever done in his life was his choice of parents. And I've got a feeling that your 2 sons have made a very great decision with their choice of a mother too. So congratulations to you, and I hope you have a very long association with Macquarie University. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen and graduands, we now come to the key part of the ceremony, the reason we're here, and that's the conferring of degrees. And it's the part of the ceremony, the only part of the ceremony really, which makes me a little bit nervous, because I'm told that if I confer a degree on someone who's not entitled to receive it, there's nothing I can do to take it back. So I have to make sure that you're all qualified. I have to get an assurance from the Deputy Registrar that none of you ever missed a class, none of you were ever late for a class, none of you were ever late in submitting an assignment, and when I get that guarantee, I can give you your degrees. Deputy Registrar.
Chancellor, I certify that all candidates presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees and diplomas they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees and diplomas please stand?
Yes, that's you. Graduands, in the name of the Council of Macquarie University and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees or diplomas for which you have qualified. Graduates, congratulations.
Please be seated. Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Business and Economics. This is the largest faculty at Macquarie and one of the largest in Australia. A broad range of programs in some of the most exciting and topical areas of business and economics are offered, and they continue to be in high demand domestically and internationally. Graduates have recorded employment levels and starting salaries well above the average for all Australian business schools. Research in the faculty is cutting edge and innovative, feeding into teaching to give students the best possible learning experience. This faculty includes research and study areas in accounting, actuarial studies, applied finance, economics, management, and marketing. Chancellor, I now call on Professor Philomena Leung, Head of Department of Accounting and Corporate Governance in the Faculty of Business and Economics, to present the graduates. Professor Leung.
Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Business and Economics whom you have admitted to degrees. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Dr. Muhammad Al-Ahmed Pramedni, for a thesis entitled Poverty and Gender Inequality, the Case of Ready-Made Garment Workers in Bangladesh. I present graduates admitted to a degree of Master of Economics, Xiao Zhan Hu. Maurice Kura. Meng Liu. Shan Wang. I present graduates admitted to degree of Master of International Business, Lali Bayad Samadi. Hey Man Chan. Michelle Yan Ling Zhang. Ming Deng. Francisca Yuli. Mei Zhen He. Akiko Hirayama. Miki Kakisawa. Yumea Khalid. Si Ngok Hiên Lee. Yuan Yuan Ma. Rangis Timothy Mei Ling Mei Hanzhen. Liu Niu. Johannes Ronadi Pola. Maria Alejandra Reyes Jamie. Vania Mehta Chera. Saraba Suwan Navajo. Sam Chan Ta. Thank you. Pete Salon Chatter-Newton. Petra Wananet. Xiao Zhen Zhao. Chen Jingsu. Chao Yan. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Megumi Arakara. Song Yi Zhong. Matthew Brendan Maloff. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Yan Lou. Michelle Shibaras. Anthony Robert Strange. Zhang Hu Xin. Dorian Simic. Aidan John Simpson. Mei Xu Su. Ming Xiaoshen. Ting Ting Sun. Lias Agustina Suwanto. Andrea Sujoko. Martha Tamowicz. Lisa Tang. Yang Tang. Joey Tass. Tamu Keeley. Chey Mei Tong. Thank you. Ding An Trung. Thank you. Kuik Sang Trang. Thank you. Albert Domenico Nuciato Tiolo. Thomas Fong Wu. Thank you. Bing Cheng Wang. Ji Wang. Thank you. Lu Wang. Shen Wang. Yo-Yo Wang. Alexander David Andrew Ware. Michael Webb. Nicole Patricia Westcott. Jing Wu. Junji Calvin Wu. Kan Wu. Mei Xuan Wu. Xiao Wu. Xiao Juan Wu. Xiangling Wu. Ximei Shei. Jing Su. Kuo Shu. Tian Xiu Su. Xin Su. Guan Hui Shu. I present a graduate admitted to a degree of Bachelor of Commerce Accounting, So Wu. I present graduates admitted to a degree of Bachelor of Commerce Professional Accounting, Munchi Maria Fong. Sarah Samsamni. Fan Yuan Shi. Zhao Shu Shi. Zhang Qi Song. Wei Hang Shun. Men Kai Sun. Chuan Sun. Qing Sun. Yu Qing Sun. Yu Shu Sun. Alice Tang. Sheila Tang. Shan Yuan Tang. Chan Tang. Chi Tang. Ya Dong Tang. Ying Ying Tang. Yomeo Su. Jin Tang. Maria Torres. Ngan Wing Tang. Tasa Wea Nathan. Jason Anthony Velapelu. Yam Kit Wang. Hai Zhou Wang. Jidan Wang. Lycan Wang. Lin Wang. Lu Cheng Wang. Mao Weng Wang. Ru Wang. Ru Jin Wang. San Nin Wang. Xiao Ting Wang. Xing Wang. Ying Wang. Yinao Wang. Ying Ting Wang. Yu Wang. Yu Feng Wang. Thank you. Jilin Wang. Lang Xiu Wei. Joseph Williams. Edwin Wong. Wengshen Wong. Daniel Wu. Tian Wu. Sir Harvard Wuji. Hua Chen Xiao, Chao Shu, Wing Zhen Su, Xin Zhou, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Economics, Victoria Abramova, Sina Amani, Costa Komundrobos, Callum Morgan, Matthias Otham, Philip Webber, Fan Wu, James Senji Yankaya, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of International Business, Sophia Case, Ka Ho Leung, Chancellor, that completes this morning's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Business and Economics.
Well, no, that wasn't too bad, was it? That beautiful voice, ladies and gentlemen, belongs to Angela Brewer. Would you like to hear Angela sing just a little bit more? It's very simple. You enrol in another degree, and when you come back, she'll be singing at your graduation. Let's give Angela another great round of applause. And also sitting over there are our fantastic musicians, Dr. James Forsyth, our organist, and on the trumpet, Melanie McLaughlin. And sitting next to them and also sitting over here are some of our graduate alumni who come along to assist at graduation and to make sure your graduation runs smoothly. So I think they deserve a great round of applause too. Well, graduates and ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker, Mr. Darryl Quinleven. Darryl is the Head of Office at the Productivity Commission. He's held positions as Deputy Secretary at the Department of Broadband, Communications and the Digital Economy, and Deputy Secretary at the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry, and in a variety of economic and industry policy agencies at the Commonwealth level. Darryl holds a Bachelor of Arts with honours from Monash University and a Bachelor of Economics degree from the Australian National University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Quinleven.
Thanks, Michael. Difficult to come back down to earth after that beautiful performance, but I think an economist's probably up to it, so we'll see. As Michael mentioned, I'm the head of the Productivity Commission Office and the employer of a large number of professional economists. With others, I'm responsible for the quality of the advice we provide to the government and the Australian community generally on how to improve the performance of the Australian economy and our living standards. I want to make 2 points today, and I'm going to talk about economics and Australia, but they have general relevance, as I know many of you are not and probably would not wish to be economists. I naturally think it's one of the best frameworks and languages for discussing issues, but it's certainly not the only one. We've all observed over the last few months, and perhaps even years, a political contest which I think has been disappointing and disenchanting for many. It's certainly added to a prevailing negativity about the state of the country and the world. There was little about it in content, conduct or coverage that would give us any reason for hope. But the first point I want to make is that there are strong grounds for hope, and the evidence supports this, both as citizens in Australia and more importantly as members of the global community. Australia has now enjoyed over 20 years of continuous economic growth. For a generation now, we've been able to provide jobs for almost all who can and want to participate in the labour market. There's almost nothing more important that the state can provide to its people than this, in a developed country at least. There's almost nothing more wasteful than unemployment or pernicious for those who suffer it. And those who do suffer it most acutely are typically those who are most vulnerable. Young people trying to enter the workforce, the less skilled, people with physical and other disadvantages, and older people who still need to work. So this is a very considerable achievement. We've had some luck, but we've been soundly governed for a long time now, and we almost take that for granted. One of the most disappointing aspects of the recent contest for me was the lack of appreciation of what this really means, and the open, honest, public debate necessary to support it. We should expect and demand this from governments and those wishing to replace them. And I see a similar story globally. I would be careful in saying this to a similar group of young people in parts of Europe at present, but globally we are part of a truly golden age. There are a few hiccups at present, but I believe it still has a very long way to run. No period in human history has seen so many people move out of poverty and the grim daily task of simply surviving and into the formal economy. It's not an unmitigated pleasure, but it brings access to goods, services, opportunities and health outcomes that undoubtedly improve lives and people almost always vote with their feet if the opportunity arises. And it's been very widespread, as many of you know from personal experience. East Asia, most importantly for us, China and Indonesia, of course, but also South America, India, and so on. Most encouraging of all, perhaps, large parts of Africa are showing signs of real and consistent progress for the first time in a century. The rapid adoption of new technologies, such as mobile phones, is helping to overcome its lack of physical and commercial infrastructure. Technologies are key to the future. Recent capital flows have disturbed some of these countries and regions as post-GFC implications continue to play out. But you have to look at the trends to see the underlying realities. And even if the serious problems being revealed in India, for example, create medium-term problems, I don't believe these long-term trends will be derailed. So I'm very positive. There's nothing inevitable about progress, but I see enormous reason for hope about the future. While I expect many of you are feeling that personally as you graduate and look ahead, you should also feel that for your communities and the world more generally. The second point I want to make is about the importance of participation and engagement. Again, looking back over the last few weeks and months, I'm sure you would agree that the standard of public debate has been terrible. None more so than on the Australian economy, although the competition was pretty hot. The focus and coverage might lead you to think that how soon the national government's budget moves to surplus and its size is overwhelmingly the most important economic issue in this country. A sound fiscal policy is very important, of course, but whether we achieve a small budget surplus in 3 or 5 years is a 10th order issue and barely warrants attention. However, the attention it did receive, I think, was a form of economic illiteracy and at times hysteria. A small number of journalists, usually writing far from the front pages and mostly read by people who already agree with them, endeavoured to say this, but even their own newspapers didn't listen to them. You will know from your training and simple arithmetic that while the direction in which budgets are heading is important, a small injection or withdrawal makes no material difference to a sizable economy, nor its stock of debt or savings. Australia's most important economic priority, and I think daylight is second, is to find ways of improving our national productivity on a sustained basis. This will support improving living standards, improve social opportunities and equity, and increase capacity to look after our natural resources and environment, and contribute positively to the global economy. In budget terms, it's the quality of the expenditure that matters, not the precise size of it. That means improved resource allocation, an improved capacity and incentive to innovate, and so on, which in turn means a more skilled and educated workforce and more carefully targeted government expenditures. The long period of growth we've experienced has been supported by 4 decades of consistently rising incomes. But looking at the simple maths, it's very hard to see how that will continue at the same rate over the next decade and beyond. The terms of trade wave we've surfed since 2003 is now receding, and our productivity performance is not going to fully offset this. The gap is potentially a very large one, and there's almost no public awareness of this or its implications. So that's what we should have been talking about here in Australia. And it's a universal priority, regardless of how developed or affluent a country might be. I know many of you will be returning home to other countries, some with very different short-term priorities. But long-term progress everywhere has common drivers, and educated and well-informed members of the community need to contribute to public policy debate and development to achieve social and economic progress. You are highly educated and I'm sure motivated to help your country achieve this. Congratulations and good luck for the future.
Well, thank you, Darryl, for an excellent occasional address. And I think it's a feature of Australia, probably more so than other parts of the world, but we are always tempted to downplay our achievements. We tend to be more often pessimistic than optimistic, yet don't really have any reason to be so. A feature of Australia particularly, I think, is that we always think we're going to fail, and then we're always surprised by our success, and then it keeps repeating itself. And I don't think too many people in Australia are aware that we have had 20 years of uninterrupted economic growth. I'm sure one of the journalists you were referring to, one of the sensible journalists, is Ross Gittins. And I'm glad to say that Ross last year was honoured with an honorary doctorate of letters from Macquarie University. Darryl, many thanks for your address today. I certainly appreciated it, and I'm sure all our graduates did too. Please join with me in congratulating Darryl once again. Well, graduates, this ceremony marks the end of one stage in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it's certainly not the end of your association with Macquarie. From today on, for the rest of your lives, you are part of the bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and part of the network of Macquarie alumni, which now spans the globe. We'll keep in touch with you through our alumni program, which is focused on lifelong learning, lifelong support, and lifelong connections. Our commitment to you is to help you keep in touch and engaged with Macquarie throughout your life. And graduates, please do make sure to come back to Macquarie, either to undertake more study or to attend alumni events, or even, if you like, just come back to use our aquatic and fitness facilities. Well, graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges. But like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. Believe it or not, you, each and every one of you, can change the world. And you don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner to do it either. Because almost everything you do, in your homes, in your workplaces, and in your communities, matters and can make a huge difference. The consequences of every effort, every action, large or small, can reverberate throughout society, through the decades, indeed the centuries. Even something as simple as a kind word or a kind gesture can often be the spark that ignites a great life or a great career or a great achievement. So as Chancellor of Macquarie University, I charge you to use what you have learned, not only for your own benefit, but also for the benefit of the community. I charge you to use the skills and knowledge you have acquired with rigour and integrity, and to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry. I charge you to recognise the worth and dignity of all people, particularly those who have not had the opportunities that you've enjoyed. I charge you to set high goals and to continue the hard work that has brought you so far. I charge you, wherever you go, to go with all your heart. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. Now, graduates, I hope also that you'll always remember the people who helped you along the way, many of whom are here with you today. So to thank them and to acknowledge them, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. Graduates, will you now please stand? Now I'd like you to put your degrees on the seats behind you so that your hands are free. And I'd like you to turn around to face your families and friends. And now I invite you to give them a mighty round of applause. Well, graduates, you can turn around now, but please don't sit down because we'll be leaving in just a moment. And also here on the dais are representatives of our academic staff who've supported you throughout your journey here at Macquarie, and I'm sure you'd like to thank them as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the official party will now leave the graduation hall through the centre aisle and will be followed by all of the graduates. I invite everyone now to please stand. And please remain standing until the last of the graduates have processed out. And then I hope you'll join us in the marquee overlooking the lake for some light refreshments. We even have some ice creams for the children and people like me. Well, now, graduates, I wish you the very best for the future, and in the words of the old Irish blessing, may the road rise up to meet you, may the wind always be at your back, may the sun shine warm upon your face, and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you and good luck.